deeply. Each day they are more of them, these poor soft-headed folk. After all, it doesn't take much wit to whip yourself. How do you feel about the Baron? Her old face glowing with warmth darkens. Oh my god. Hi. What's up? Her old face glowing with warmth darkens, but only for a moment. She responds with the same enthusiasm. He used to be the head of the local bandits, not the worst kind. When the sea came, he took all the power for himself. He struggled for a long time trying to set things right. In the end, he started taking the sea sludge from us and using it somehow. In exchange for us harvesting the sludge, he's been protecting our children and giving us some food. The fish can only thank him for that. If it wasn't for him, the swamp uglies would have eaten the rest of us for sure. Swamp uglies? What do you mean?
Mukluk chit pat.
Thank you, Kreml. Not long ago, the uglies came from the swamps. Mutants. Like people, but with beaks. Oh, that's the, what, Kroot? But who is fish to judge them for their looks? So they attacked us, cutting us down without mercy. Many of them even ate right there where they killed them. But then the Baron came with his cronies and drove the uglies back into the swamps. Now they stay there, a bit calmer. Sometimes they wander along the shore looking for food, but they don't bother us anymore. Let's talk about something else. What is that strange smell? Don't be angry, good master. That's the fish. Her body is old, doddery, and ruined by the sea. That's why she is called rotten. Alright. May the God Emperor show you the way and Sibelius guide you through it. She's like, that's me, I stank. It could be Zinch. Yeah. The corpse of a worker without a service number. This is definitely not one of Millicentilia's workers. Okay, cleared that. Some dwellings are daubed with dark red paint that looks like bloodstains. Perhaps the local gangs use these symbols to mark the homes of debtors. Oh, this is just a shortcut back to the early area. Okay. Was there any more footsteps? Because the whole reason we ended up over here was like the footsteps. Oh, we can go in here now. Lore Heresy. The sea did not spare the makeshift statue of Saint Sibelius, but his features are still visible under the layers of silt and shells. Crates containing half-faded seals of the Astra Militarum. The Aquila has been ravaged by rust but remains intact. An aged woman with a small, weather-beaten face is polishing the helmet of a diving suit. When you approach, she stops and raises her weary eyes to meet yours. Thanks for my boys, by the way. The Baron's oafs would never have pulled anyone out. She spits out a gob of black saliva with gusto. What is it you want? Black saliva. I am looking for a man named Ruffinius Scragg. He's not from around here and would have been a recent arrival. I do remember one shore rat. Always hovering about, was very interested in learning about us and about the Baron's Gurgisum. He even suggested my boys gorge on that gunk and take a walk on the seabed. But we don't take Gurgisum, only real sludge. It opens your eyes a little wider, but Gurgisum stops them from closing at all, understand? Who are you? The locals call me Cowby. I lead the divers in the Hab Zone. I take them down to the very bottom and retrieve what the Baron really likes. With this pretty mouth here. She points to her blackened lips and gives a playful wink. Her eyes, however, remain cold as ice. Oh my god. Joswy, thank you. Welcome. You have Physaline crates in your warehouse. Are you aware this is theft? The woman cranes her neck as if trying to peer into the warehouse from here. You can see 3 thin scars on her dirty neck. What crates? Ah, we found them in the sea. People throw a lot of nice stuff into the water, and we put it to good use. We keep our suits and hoses in these lockers. Everything we need for diving, basically. What is that profane idol in your settlement? It looks heretical. The diver's eyes widen. She slowly shifts her gaze to the strange statue and starts guffawing with delight. Heretical? God Emperor have mercy. What, didn't you recognize the saint? Who's the idolater here, then? That's Sibelius the Infallible. The sea roughed him up a bit, of course, but we're no strangers to that, so we dredged him up from the bottom, stood him up, and now we honor him just like rotten fish instructed. Can you tell me more about the Hab Zone? She looks at you with poorly concealed irritation and well-disguised fear. Finally, she shrugs. We haven't got much, you know, but something remains still. One could say that you've arrived just in time to witness the last gasp of Maris Portum. What do you know? What can you tell me about Confessor Ersimus? She looks at you askance and reluctantly makes the sign of the Aquila. At first, Ersimus himself was nothing special. Just a run-of-the-mill sanctimonious preacher. He talked a lot about Sibelius, and then he went through the gateway and didn't come back for a long time. They say he went all the way to the Silenza Sectoris, the one that was burned for its people's wickedness. I don't know what happened to him there, but he came back injured all over. Clue acquired. Okay. Since then, all he talks about is suffering. He gathered other oddballs around him and called them the flock of repentance. They're not too bad. They keep their hands to themselves, and I'm grateful for that. But the ones who listen to Ersimus's new words, you see, he speaks as smooth as you like, and what he says sounds quite true. We all must suffer to purify our souls, he says. But our simpletons think that if you flay your hands and throw your neighbor into an acid vat, the God Emperor will immediately forgive you. And the worst thing is that more and more people are listening to Ersimus. It looks like our time is running out, and people have started thinking about their souls. What if the God Emperor will forgive them? So they rush to the flock. The remains of penitents swell with every passing day. It can't lead to anything good. You mentioned Loomers. Who are they? They're the Carvers, the Baron's minions. They paint their bodies with luminous paint so that everyone knows who they belong to. If it weren't for the Baron, may the sea take him, they would be common thugs, but he brought them together and keeps them under his thumb. He got them hooked on Gurgisum, so now they'll do anything for another dose and listen to him like he's their own father. They're all twitchy, though, either from the Gurgisum or from not sleeping for weeks after taking it. Weeks? But at least they don't suffer from nightmares like the rest of us. Oh, because the sea is giving everybody nightmares, so if you take a drug to keep you awake, you avoid it. Okay, I follow. What do you think of the Baron? Same way I think of a knife in my leg. While it's in there, it'll be a lot of pain and discomfort, but if I take it out, I'll bleed to death. After the sea quake, the Baron and his carvers took power, and most have been keeping the locals in line, mostly. Anyone who doesn't like it doesn't live long. They disappear without a trace. And if anyone's thinking of rebelling or mistreating the Baron's folk, he's quick to show what happens to such loudmouths, usually in the square. He takes the person who upset him, grabs a large saw, and cuts off their hands and feet. They say he always takes the head so he can keep track of the names and numbers put under his knife. What is this place? You can't make a stew if you don't know any fishing spots, I'll tell you. That's no skin off my nose. This is our home. This is where we prepare to dive to the bottom of this rotten world. And there is a town around us, our town. Not the upper town, of course, but it still beats living in the swamps. Tell me about the divers. Ask away. We're quiet people, we have nothing to hide. Have you lived here long? We've been here since Maris Portum was founded. My ancestors first fished here, then built boats, then invented diving suits. We've survived a lot, but these floods, I doubt we'll be surviving them. We used to give our dead to the sea, and now it's come for us. Seems we failed to appease it. What do the divers do in Maris Portum? The seemingly innocent question causes Calby to grow sullen. Before the flood, we used to fish and grow seaweed. Then Fab Manufactorums would grind them into rations and send them through the gateway to the upper hivers. In return, they would send us food and medicine. Those were good times. Clue acquired. Now, well, we dive. She mimes the act by puffing out her cheeks and pinching her nose, but there's no trace of real joy on her face. This work is important. Without us, the Baron would be left without his precious Gurgisum, and we would be left without his guns and grub. Calby chuckles, cocking back her head. You notice the scaly patches covering her chest and neck. Noticing your stare, she immediately stops laughing and glumly tucks her chin into her chest. So you extract unrefined Gurgisum? Can you tell me more about it? Here's how it is. The Baron distills his poison from raw stuff that comes straight from the bottom of the sea, from tiny little wells darker than a Grox's arse. These smokers only appear deep, deep down, so we dive down to them. We attach hoses and pump the stuff into cylinders, except the pumps break constantly, and we often have to use our mouths to get the flow going, or that shit won't go the right way. Oh, like when you... Okay, so it's like when you're siphoning gas and you suck on a tube for a second to get the suction going? Calby suddenly opens her mouth wide, revealing a completely black tongue. You notice that her entire throat is covered with an oily, shiny film. Delighted with the impression she has made, Calby shuts her mouth and starts cackling. This job's not for everyone. People drown, get poisoned, die, but you never go without. Everyone needs you. Do you dive too? I'm cleaning my suit right now in case you haven't noticed. I can't be waiting on about the bottom all the time. Once I'm done with this, I'm heading to see the Baron again. You might have dealt with the ferals, but my people say they've seen those beak faces on the shore again. May the sea take them. The woman spits, leaving a viscous black streak on the ground. They came all the way from their distant shores, and now they're throwing their weight around. If you're here because of them, you should go see the Baron as well. He somehow managed to put them in their place last time. I see. I told you, simple folk. What are the beak faces you're talking about? She gazes wistfully towards the sea, then clears her throat audibly through her nose. One sec. A bunch of freaks that showed up after the sea quake must have come out of the distant pipes. Hideous things with beaks instead of mouths. They swooped in, killed some of our folk, and even ate someone, if the rumors are to be believed. I think they must be starving to death since they came from the swamps. The ferals don't turn their noses up at human flesh when they're really hungry either. The Baron kicked the beak faces in the arse and sent them packing, except he started being friendly with them later, damn him. I see. That'll do for now. You don't want to know anything else about Maris Portum. Thank the God Emperor for that. I've learned what I need. So long, Shore Rat. If you want anything else, come back and we'll prattle some more. Okay. Alright. I missed loot in here? What did I miss? Oh. Alright. So this tube, hang on. Like, I'm pretty sure this will kill someone if I mean, we're playing in the alpha. Let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure that's going to kill someone. The machine spirit of the mechanism has fallen silent. What became of the person who relied on this pump to breathe underwater remains a mystery. Yeah. Yeah, they're dead, Jim. They're dead. Gargison. Several faces sketched in ink, one on top of the other. Eyes, mouths, and noses overlap to create an indistinct image of a monster. A man with sunken cheeks and sharp cheekbones. His taut, thin mouth twists as if in pain. A woman with angular facial features. Her eyes have been generously shaded with ink. Either the artist has overdone it or the missing woman has not slept a day in her life. Okay. Alright. At this point, I'd like to take a pause. So, once again, just to recap, we are playing the alpha version of Dark Heresy, which just drops you right into the middle of the story on a chapter that they have prepared so you can try the game out and see how it feels. This is awesome. The story, it's not making a lot of sense because we don't know what led up to this point. However, the gameplay is very similar to Rogue Trader. Since there's no tutorial, since we're in the middle of the game, if it wasn't for the fact that I played Rogue Trader, I would have no idea how to play this. But since I have, it wasn't too hard to figure out. This is pretty cool. I'm definitely going to play this when it comes out in full. For now, though, one, because it's spoiling the hell out of us, and two, because it is destroying my voice.
An anonymous user gifted a tier 1 sub to Dirty Sock Enjoyer.
Oh, no. Anyway, it's destroying my voice. I was not expecting to be reading everything tonight. I did not realize that this was going to be a game with this much reading, which is totally fine most of the time, but right now, that's not great. So, I'm just going to say that I greatly like what I've seen so far. Granted, it was a lot of reading. We only saw one fight, but the fight was fun too. Oh, your standard bugging, T-posing individual here. Awesome. I like the additions I've seen so far, like hitting someone in the arm or the leg or the chest. They get injuries specific to that area. What was the other thing? Oh, the morale thing. You kill enough enemies and the others run. Like, that's pretty interesting. Rogue Trader didn't have that. So this is very, very cool. I love what I see so far. I'm absolutely going to play this when it comes out. But for now, just to save myself from further spoilers and to save my throat, going to stop playing the alpha here. and we'll be back to this game once they've got another build or once it's fully released. All right, and thank you to Owlcat who sent me the key and allowed me to do this.